Avengers, Assemble. Welcome back to Sanders Presents. I'm Greg, and if you're enjoying the content we're producing, then please consider following that link in the description below to become an Avenger today by joining our Patreon. We have two tiers available, a $3 tier and a $5 tier. At the $5 tier, you become an Avenger Premium member, and as a founding Avenger, you make it onto our Avenger Memorial Hall of Fame. We have Fairy Cake Ed, One Shot, One Kill, Treasure Valentine, and Fishy. And I want to thank them so much for their support as Avenger Premium members, and I want to thank all of my Avengers who are supporting us on Patreon. Thank you so much. Your support makes the content of this channel possible. It's time. It's crazy to believe. It's really crazy to think about. But we've been talking about Spider-Man No Way Home and all of those leaks for over a year. And it's here. It's actually here. After seeing it, I have a lot of thoughts. I have very strong feelings. And I'm going to have to kind of reserve those feelings for the sake of the review and for this being a completely spoiler-free review. I'm not going to touch on any story points. You've seen the trailer. You have an overall clear idea of the film. You know the film picks up immediately after Far From Home. You know his identity is outed in the opening of the film, and you know what that leads to. You know that leads to him meeting with Strange to try to make a deal with the devil to get his secret identity back. And it's an incredible, incredible adventure. That is, it feels like it's a film 19 years in the making. Like it really does. This feels like the culmination of a saga that is 19 years in the making. Anybody who's followed this channel or the one that Square Enix killed, the last Sanders Presents, before we were reborn, resurrected. But if you follow the channel, you know how I have overall felt about Spider-Man. He's been second fiddle. At least in my opinion, it's always felt like he's been second fiddle to the other heroes. He's always felt like a sidekick or an iron lad or an iron boy. He just hasn't come into his own. And I've wrestled with that. I've wrestled with changes, that they've sort of made with the Spider-Man mythology, the lack of, of any kind of presence of Uncle Ben. There's a lot of things that I am nostalgic for, that I'm easily baited for in terms of nostalgia. And there's a lot of sticking points for me for what represents Spider-Man and his supporting cast and what to me is the Spider-Man mythology, or at least the classic Spider-Man mythology. Homecoming and Far From Home, Infinity War and Civil War and Endgame, they're all fine films. They're all fine films that feature a Spider-Man, but it never really felt like the Peter Parker I knew. It never really felt like I was getting the ultimate iteration of Peter Parker, that this was a definitive adaptation. I just didn't feel that way. And this is the end of this sort of Homecoming trilogy, and it really is the end. The title, at least, and I can't wait to be able to talk about this with everyone. The title of this film has so many layers on what it means that you can't go back home. And I have no problem admitting this, but there were two big moments where I actually got emotional. I mean, I was caught off guard and got very, very emotional. And that I legitimately cried during this film. This is the first Spider-Man film I've cried during. But that's how good it was. I mean, and I legitimately mean that. This is the first Spider-Man MCU film I have loved. It is nostalgic. It is nostalgia baited. And that's why I say this is 19 years in the making. It is truly fuel for nostalgia. And I admire and respect Sony for how much they have held back, because they have held back a lot. And they've cleverly framed some of the scenes in the trailer. You're going to be really surprised at some of the scenes you've seen and how the context changes them and how much of the end you've even seen. Let's put it that way. because it's clever. It's, what they've shown you is very cleverly edited, but it's all there. All the pieces are there. And it's a really, really brilliant, powerfully done film. And I know that this kind of sounds cliche. It might even sound trite to you. But we talk about this all the time in comics, It's always a new beginning. Every end is a new beginning, right? We talk about that. We talk about that when we chat about comics. And it couldn't be more true here. This is not the end of Spider-Man. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't the end. But it is the end of a very particular saga, right? But it is a whole new beginning. When this film ends, the door is wide open. And I can't help but even be more giddy by what that ending means. And I can't wait to talk about it. I really legitimately can't wait to talk about it. If you... And again, this is my perspective. This is completely my perspective. If you have loved Homecoming and Far From Home, you are not, and again, I say this but this is honestly, this is in my notes. So I feel like it's fair to say it because I wrote it down for a reason. But I feel like if you legitimately loved Homecoming and Far From Home, there's going to be parts of this film that you hate. There's going to be parts of this film that you really hate. If you have gone back and forth, if there's things where you've been iffy, like I can't even say just to be as careful as possible, you'll leave this film very, very excited about what the next step is. Because Sony has been a genius in what they've done with this film and obviously worked with Marvel Studios. And I'm not going to, but everybody, Sony and Marvel both have a role to play, creatively in finding Spider-Man and finding Spider-Man's new direction after this film. And I haven't been excited for the future of Spider-Man. I just haven't. I really haven't. I am now. I am giddy and over the moon about the future of Spider-Man because this delivered. It delivered on nostalgia. And again, I will continue to reiterate that this feels like, a saga 19 years in the making, but it delivers on every major point. And it sets the stage to correct every complaint I've had. Every nitpick, every gripe, every meme, everything that I've kind of gone on about, it sets the stage to correct all of that as we move forward. And again, I do feel really strongly that if you've come away from the previous Spider-Man MCU films and you've loved it and you've loved everything about them, then yeah, I think, and that's why I'm so excited to have this conversation, to have a full, detailed, spoiler-filled conversation when you're able to watch it. But yeah, I think I'm very excited to see what the marketing reception to this is, what the consumer reaction is going to be, because I think there's going to be a line in the sand where I truly believe there's going to be viewers who loved Homecoming and Far From Home, and then when they see and when they are leaving the theater from this film, there's going to be a lot to wrestle with. Whereas I think if you are nostalgic, if you've been following this saga for 19 years, so to speak, if you are more in tune with a more classical portrayal of Peter and you've been wondering if we're ever going to get to that, I think that you'll leave this at the most optimistic you've ever been. And so I did. I loved it. I legitimately did, There was powerful moments in it. There was emotional moments, like I said. Twice they got me, like crying, like they really did. And it is a wonderful, wonderful experience that I say if you can go in clean, then, completely spoiler free, you will have a truly unbelievable, exceptional experience. And because in my opinion, this is better than Endgame. I was disappointed with Avengers Endgame. Yeah, I haven't hidden that. That I was disappointed with Avengers Endgame, especially coming from the comics. I have certain we all have expectations. We all have ideas. We all have things we want and don't want, things we want to see. But this delivered. This settles everything, and it opens every door for what I want. This truly is like, yes, it is a culmination of a saga. It's a culmination of, Peter's homecoming saga. But what it opens that door for, what it takes that next step for, is where have been the most excited I've been for Spider-Man in film. Like they really did it. They really set out to do something interesting and different with Spider-Man. And then the stage that they've set is more interesting than it ever has been in these last few years. And I cannot wait to really dive in and talk about it. But like I said, we've been a leak channel. We've been a spoiler channel. We have. Have you been following it? Again, I know it seems weird to say, listen, go in as clean as you can. But if you've managed to stay clean, if you've avoided our spoiler videos, our leak videos, again, Sanders Presents, you know what we've leaked. You know what we leaked first last year. I mean, it's been quite the journey if you have followed our leaks. But here we are. And if you've kept yourself clean, yeah, I can't wait to see the reactions from this. I really can't wait, because I loved it. And I don't say that about the MCU Spider-Man films. You know it. You know I don't. I loved it. I really, really loved it. So, again, you will have to let me know what you think. And again, if you haven't seen it yet, let me know what you're looking forward to. I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts, your anticipation, and your predictions. Again, as I said at the top of the video, to my Avengers, to my patrons, thank you so much for your support and for making this content possible. If you're able, please consider following that link in the description below to become an Avenger today by joining our Patreon. To everyone, thank you so much for being a part of this conversation. I really do appreciate it. Before you leave, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and consider sharing this on your favorite social media platform. It helps immensely with YouTube's analytics and algorithms, and it lets YouTube know, hey, the viewers watching this like it. YouTube will then start recommending it more and more themselves. So we do appreciate it here at Sanders Presents. And Christmas is approaching. Holidays are upon us. If you're looking for a gift, you can follow another link in the description below to order our book from Amazon, 89 Instrument of Destruction. It is my debut novel set in an exciting and thrilling science fiction universe. So please do consider checking that out. Above all else, and most importantly, stay safe, take care of others, and have a marvelous day. Bye, everyone.